Good evening, am I audible to everyone? Okay. We'll start with the class. So did you people revise JDBC, Hibernate, Servlet, JSP, all those concepts? Okay. So what we are going to do today? We are going to learn about Spring. Okay. So in Spring, we have Spring Core and Spring Boot. Spring Core and Spring Boot. So today we will understand about Spring Core or Spring IOC. Anything is fine. Okay. So why do we require Spring? What is Spring first of all? It is a API or it is any technology, or what is Spring? Hibernate is a API or any technology, or it is a framework. Hibernate is a framework. We understood that Hibernate is a framework because it is helping us. It is giving us inbuilt method and it is helping us, right? Instead of writing the query or instead of giving the connection to the database, instead of creating the table in the database, our Hibernate itself is doing half of the work for us. We should just call the method. That is the advantage of framework, because it itself will do half of the work. We need to just call few methods. Similarly, Spring is a framework. Okay. So what you should know is Spring is a framework. So in interview, they will ask, so are you familiar with any frameworks, or did you use any frameworks in your project? So that time you should be like, yes, I have used Hibernate and I have used Spring. Depends on whichever concept you are good at, you can tell I have used Hibernate framework in the project and this is how it works. You can explain. Or if you're good in Spring, you can just tell I have used Spring framework and how it works. We will understand. So all those you can explain in interview. Like directly they'll not ask you are aware of Spring, or you are aware of Hibernate, or you are aware of JDBC. They'll not ask like this. Which APIs did you use in your project? They will ask. So you can tell JDBC is an API which you have used, and which frameworks you are aware of, or like such type of questions they'll ask. So you can just remember. So guys, so framework, it will give you the entire it will okay. Sorry. So framework will make your what to tell development easy. Web page development or backend development easy. Framework means it is a complete set where half of the work will be done by the framework and rest we should do. What we should do? We should just call the methods which are present in that particular package or particular framework. So we know how framework works. So especially now we should understand how Spring framework will work. How Spring framework will work. So if we wanted to use this Spring framework, should we pay and take this framework, or it is an open source application framework? You don't need to pay for using Spring framework. It is an open source. Anyone can use. So it is open source application framework. It is an open source application framework. Okay. So it provides few infrastructure which will help the developer to develop the application. So what are those infrastructures? We will understand. So before that, we have many applications we used to install in our system and we used to use, right? So with regards to that or relating to those applications, can you tell what is heavyweight application? Can you tell what is heavyweight application? So because this is related to spring. What is heavyweight application? And there is something called as lightweight application. Okay, so heavyweight application means you can take any application. Okay, you can take any application which will directly run on your operating system. Any application which directly runs on operating system is known as a heavyweight application. It can be any of the applications whichever you download and install in your system. Directly it works on your operating system, right? Directly it works on your operating system. So you can give many websites example or many applications example. But now the main thing is, what is lightweight application? You can define lightweight application. So you can tell any application which will not run on the operating system. So in your laptop, you have operating system. So if the website or if the application will not run on the operating system, will it work? Do you have any idea about that? You know what is operating system, right? So application should run on the operating system. That is fine. That is called as heavyweight. Then how this lightweight will work? Any application which will not run on operating system, that we call as lightweight application. So if I tell you the definition for lightweight application, you will not understand because you will be like, how will it work? So for that, I'll give you one example. So lightweight application, the example is Eclipse, our Eclipse which we are using. So can you tell Eclipse is running on your operating system or it is running on your JRE? Yes. So as what you people told, Eclipse runs on your JRE. So if your JRE is not present in the system, will Eclipse work? It will tell you the JRE is not found or the path is not found. It will give some kind of error and exception, right? So Eclipse does not run on operating system. It runs on JRE. So this is one example which you people already know. Okay. So what about this spring? This is related to your spring. That is why I had explained this. So now they will ask, a spring is a heavyweight application or it is a lightweight application? This will be your question. So spring is a lightweight application. Okay. So it also runs on your JRE. Spring directly runs on your JRE, not on operating system. So that point you should remember. Okay, so about Spring, these points you should be clear with. So first, if they ask you to explain about Spring, first thing you should tell, it is a framework, it is an open source application, and it is a lightweight application. So if you tell lightweight application, they'll ask, can you just explain it? You can just tell it will not run on the operating system, it will directly run on the JRE. So it is a lightweight application. So now, why we are going to use Spring and why we are going to develop project using Spring? Without Spring also we try to develop many projects using JDBC Hibernate, right? Then why do we require Spring? It's easy. Yeah, obviously, it is easy, it is simple, correct. Correct. So whenever it reduces work, correct, framework, it reduces work, coding is easier. Oh, exactly in what way it is going to help the developer? Obviously, if they ask advantage of framework, you can just tell coding is easier, reduces work of development, and what else you people told, it is lightweight, some whatever. Yeah, it reduces the time and memory. All these you can tell, and it is advantage of framework. But exactly how it is going to help the developer, it easy to use mapping. Okay, fine. So whenever we are going to develop a huge application, obviously application, if you wanted to develop, it will have more than 60 DTO classes. Okay, 60 DTO classes, 45 to 50 DAO classes, and many controllers. So now we are just creating 2 to 3 DTOs, 4 to 5 DAOs. Yes, whatever project we have read, only these were the numbers. But in your application, real-time application, you will have many class, many DTOs, many DAOs. So that is a huge application, right? So for all those methods to be called, for all those variables to be called, we need to repeatedly create the object whenever we want. We need to repeatedly create the object whenever we want. But one important thing is Spring will create the object by itself. Spring will create the object by itself. So you will feel easy in Spring Boot. You will feel all these easy in Spring Boot. So now what we will understand in Spring Core is how exactly Spring is working. How exactly Spring is working, how it is creating the object, and then what configurations and all we should do so that it will create the object. All those basic we will understand in Spring Core. In Spring Boot, we will try to make use of many annotations. Annotation itself will work. Whatever we learned in Spring Core, that will be done by 1 or 2 annotations. 1 or 2 annotation, and there are many other features. Yes, Vinod, there are many other features. All those you will understand in Spring Boot. All those you will understand in Spring Boot. Okay, using all those only we will be creating an object. So in Spring Boot, you don't have anything, just 3 to 4 annotations and how to create a project. And how those annotations will work, you need to understand, right? That is the reason we need to learn Spring Core. You understood why we are going to learn Spring Core. Now directly I can do Spring Boot. Directly I can do Spring Boot for you people. Using 4 annotations, I can complete Spring Boot. But how those 4 annotations will work, you people will not know. That is what we are going to do here in Spring Core. How exactly it is working, we will understand. What is the workflow of Spring, we will understand. How it is creating the object by itself, we will understand. Okay, so this is what we are going to do in Spring Core. So if you understand this, in 3 classes, I easily we can complete Spring Core, and then we'll move to Spring Boot. Okay, so this is the basic introduction which you people should know. And one more important point is in Spring we have something called as container. In Spring we have something called as container. Okay, there are many different containers. Why it is used, we will understand. Okay, so this is one more important point. In Spring we have containers. So why is this containers used? Containers will build the object and give it to the user. So we are users, we want to create an object for one class. Container will create the object. So in this, how we need to make use of this container and all, we will understand further. So this might be one of your interview question. So how Spring is creating the object? So containers are used. Containers which are present in the Spring, it tells the Spring to build the object, or it will build the object for the user. So this is the explanation how you need to give it in the interview. Simultaneously, I am telling you how to answer your interview questions also. Okay, so just concentrate. So basic introduction of Spring is clear, right? Okay, good. So you understood why we should make use of containers also. In Spring, containers are used to build the object. Now, one more important point of Spring. What Spring is expecting from us is, Spring is not supporting is a relationship. So it is like, don't use is a relationship, that means extends. Instead, make use of has a relationship. This can be your another question. Does Spring use Spring supports is a relationship or has a relationship? So Spring will tell, please don't use is a relationship in the project. Always go with has a relationship. In mapping, Hibernate frameworks and all, we have used has a relationship. You people remember person class, pan class. Yes, person class, pan class. Pan has a relationship in the person. Yes, pan has a relationship in the person we have used. So that is has a relationship. Instead of extending all the time, make use of has a relationship. So this you would have been learned in your Java itself. Inheritance, in that you have is a relationship and has a relationship. So you would have been learned. String is also a kind of has a relationship which we give in our class, right? String, reference variable, so that is also has a relationship. So all this you would have been covered in your Java. I am just recalling it, that's all. So now this is another important thing. Spring tells don't use is a relation. Instead, use as a relationship. Okay, this is one important point which you should remember. And Spring always ask us to use Pojo class. Spring tells us to use Pojo class. So what is Pojo? This is, I think you're hearing this for the first time. Any idea what is Pojo? Setter getter method. Okay, so few have answered, few. If you don't know also, that's fine. It is nothing different class which we are going to create. It is not a big deal with this. So Pojo is nothing but plain old Java object. The full form is plain old Java object. Okay. So what is the difference between the normal class or what is the difference between this Pojo class? Difference between normal class and difference between Pojo class. Any idea? Whatever you feel like you can tell. Security. Okay. Okay. So what is Pojo class? I will tell. We encapsulate Java Bean class. Okay. So any class, let's take any class whichever you create. Any class that does not extend any other classes is called Pojo class. So you might create two class and you will try to inherit. So that particular class, whichever you create, should not have extends. But the class automatically it will extend object class. That is not a problem. But it should not the particular class should not extend any other class which user has created. Okay. So just a simple term you can understand. You can create a class and you can just leave it like that. Instead of extending person class, extending pan class, extending student class, instead of doing all those, let's take you have created a parent class and you have created a child class. So class child extends parent. That means is a child class a Pojo class? Is a child class Pojo class? No, it is not a Pojo class because it is extending the parent, right? It is not a Pojo class. So it should not extend any other class. So that is called as Pojo class. So these points you should remember. So I just repeat. We all got to know that Spring is a framework. And it is an open source application. And along with that, we can tell that Spring is a lightweight application. Why Spring is lightweight application? Because it will not directly run on operating system, but it will run on JRE. That is the reason it is a lightweight application. Then how Spring will help us to create object. In Spring we have something called as container. So those containers will build the object for us, for the users. And then Spring will not support is a relationship. Instead it will use has a relationship, and along with that it will use Pojo class. Pojo class means it will not extend any other classes. That is called as Pojo class. This is simple introduction. All these points are introduction for Spring. Now we will try to understand about container, which is important. Without container, we cannot create object in Spring. Correct? So we should use these containers and we should create the object. So we need to understand how it works, right? So we should understand about Spring container. What are the different types of container we have in Spring? One is IOC container. So based on these, you will have interview questions. So please concentrate. The second one is we have web container. Okay. So these are the two containers. So in IOC container, I'll tell you what is all this. Okay, In IOC container, again we have two more. That is core container and J2EE container. core container and J2EE container. As I told, in Spring we have containers, and using those containers only we can create object. Yes, so we have IOC container, we have web container. So in IOC container again we have core container, J2EE container. What is the difference? We will understand when we execute the program. I'll explain you. Okay, so now we have a core container and J2EE container. We will be using these IOC containers only. As of now, we will be using IOC containers. Okay. So in core container, you have a interface called Bean Factory. I'm just telling you theory part. I'll do practically and then you'll understand. Okay. So in core container, you have something called as Bean Factory. And it is a interface. Correct? So similarly, in J2EE container, we have two more interfaces. That is application context. It is an interface, and we have configurable application context. It is also an interface. So we will be using these interfaces. Bean Factory is called as core container, application context, and configurable application context is called as J2EE container. It is called as J2EE container. Yes. So the questions will be like this. What are the different Spring containers you are aware of? So one is IOC and another one is web. Web container. Correct? So what is this IOC container? What does this IOC means? It is, the full form is inversion of control. Okay, so this is the full form. Usually they'll not go to ask all these expansions and all. So we tell this as Spring Core, or we will tell this as Spring IOC. So they'll just name it as IOC. Okay, so this is what I told IOC as. So in IOC container, we have core container, we have J2EE container. In core container, we will make use of Bean Factory. In J2EE container, we will make use of application context, or you can use configurable application context, context. So these are the Spring containers which are available in your Spring. Okay, so you can make use of these interfaces. With the help of these interfaces, object will be created. So till here it is clear, right? Basic theory part I am explaining. When we do practical, we'll understand the flow. Okay, Till here, clear, right? Application context is nothing but it is an interface. It is a built-in interface which is given by the Spring. I told no, Spring is a framework. It will give you many classes. It will give you many interfaces. It will give you many methods. We should make use of all those. How in Hibernate we made use of persist method, merge method, entity manager factory, entity transaction, entity manager, correct? Similarly, in this framework, we have many interfaces, and the name of those interfaces are Bean Factory, application context, configurable application context. So this terms you should remember. These terms and all you should remember. Yes, this is more important. Web container, as of now, we will not be using. Okay, so we will be using IOC container only. And I'll tell you the difference also. Yes, Purti. Frame, even you people can create your own framework. In framework, you will have nothing. All classes, interfaces, and different methods which will perform different operations where the developer should feel okay. If I call the method, my half of the work will be reduced. Did you like notice that in Hibernate, right? In JDBC, we were writing code for everything, but in Hibernate, it made simple. So all those logics they had written and they called it as framework. That's all. Even you people can do it. Even you people can do it, correct? No. Fine. So can you tell what is the work of the container here? What is the work of the container? The container will create the object. Okay. The container will create the object. Along with that, what you will do? Suppose if you want to, if you create an object, you will give a reference variable for that object. Correct? Your container itself is creating the object. Then what will be the reference variable? So it will wire them together. Wire them together means it will give a reference variable or whatever reference variable we want also we can give. So it will it will get the objects together if required, and it will give the configuration for them, or it will configure them. If you want to perform some changes in the object, or if you want to use the object in some other class for some other purpose, all those configuration it will do. And it will manage the complete life cycle of the object. You know how no object will be created, reference variable will be referring to that. Suppose if the object is used for a purpose, after completing the work of that particular object, it will get destroyed, right? It will get destroyed. So the entire life cycle of that object will be managed by this container. Life cycle of object, right, how the object works. Whenever you see a new keyword, the particular object will be created. It will be referring to that object. Once the work of the object is done and it is no more used in the application, it will destroy. So this is the life cycle. So we can tell and manages their complete life cycle from creation till destruction. So this is the work of the container. This is the work of the container. Okay. Till here it is clear. Yes. Okay. Fine. So now, how to do this? How to do it practically? That is what we are going to understand. How to do it practically? That is what we are going to understand. And we need to do few configurations, right? We need to do few configurations. First, we will do configurations. Then we will try to overcome it by using annotations. Okay. Directly, I can teach you annotation. It will be easy. But I want you people to do XML based configuration also. Then only you will understand the pain and you will understand the importance of annotation, and it will be useful for your interview. So I don't want to skip that XML part. Okay, that is the reason I'm going with XML. So please do concentrate. So I don't want to explain it in Paint. We'll just directly go with Eclipse. Okay, we'll just directly go with Eclipse. Yeah, okay. So whichever Eclipse you used for servlet, you use the same thing. Whichever Eclipse you used for servlet, just use the same thing. From now on, it will always be J2EE only. It is not Java Persist. It is always J2EE perspective, okay? It is always J2EE perspective. You can use that. I'll just display my Eclipse. Just give me a minute. Okay, Arun, as you tell, okay? Fine. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. You can create a new workspace with the same Eclipse, or you can do it in the same workspace, whatever you are having, okay? So I'll just continue with this. If suppose I face some problem, I'll change the workspace. Okay, so fine. So we'll create, guys, everyone, please concentrate. Okay. Don't be in hurry or don't skip whatever I am explaining. Later, you will only feel difficult. JDBC Hibernate Servlet, that's fine if if you're not aware of it thoroughly. Also, 50% or 70% of it will help you. But Spring Boot is very important. Don't skip the classes and concentrate. That's all I wanted to tell. Later, if you come up with all doubts in the end, and one more thing I wanted to inform you now only, please prepare for mock, okay? So JDBC, Hibernate, Servlet, Spring Boot. So from all these concepts, you will have mock, and this mock will be updated to your respective HRs. And based on your mock rating, they will provide you interviews. So this is what update I got. You'll have only one mock, guys. I'll keep it simple. Okay. For all these concepts, that is JDBC, Hibernate, Servlets, JSP, and Spring Boot, I will give you a few set of questions. Okay. After I complete Spring Boot by the end of this week, okay, this week your class will get completed. I will give you questions. Please prepare on those questions. Mock for few of you I will be taking, and some other trainers also will be taking mock for you people. Since you all are my students, I might give full marks, so they don't want that thing to happen. So others also will take. But you don't need to worry. The same questions, whatever I give it to you people, from those questions only the mock will take place. Okay, suppose I give around 50 questions, be thorough with all the 50 questions. So only from that they will ask you. You don't need to worry. And what else? If they ask practical, if they ask you to execute something, you can easily do it, right? Whatever I have done, the same thing you replicate. So anything else, so schedule, it will be scheduled. So your name, when on which day you will have and when is your time to log in into that particular URL Google Meet. So all those lists will be shared in group. You people, according to your date, according to the time, whatever is mentioned in that sheet, you can join the Google Meet, complete your mock, and you can move on. So that's all. So this is the update I want to give you now only because you have still 1 week of time. You can prepare slowly. Okay, clear? Okay, what Pavan, what is your please give at least 1-2 weeks after class for mock. So 1 or 2 weeks time will not be given. It'll drag for next month also. So I'll share you the questions, right? So that's fine. Hardly 2 days time you will get. Hardly 2 days time you will get. You just prepare. Yeah. By tomorrow, I'll most probably share the questions to you people. So you can start preparing. Already I have shared JDBC questions. So you can start preparing. Hibernate and I'll share. Practical questions. Practical means, for example, create an object using Spring. Like such type of simple questions only they'll ask. So don't need to worry about all those. So please be prepared. Okay, so later don't get into trouble. Fine. And no one should question any one of us. That's all. Fine, guys. So we will start. And most of your questions will be from Spring Boot. So please do concentrate. Okay, please do concentrate. Now we are going to create a Maven project. We are creating simple Maven project, guys. We are going to create simple Maven project. Not how we did it for servlet. We are not going to use server anymore. Just we are going to execute in our system and we will check how Spring is working. So what project we are going to create? We are going to create a Maven project and it is a simple project. How you created for your Hibernate, right? Create a simple project. Just select this, click on simple Maven project and go to next. Just give the group ID com.sp. sp means the Spring, and then I'll just give spring Spring core XML. Please do give the project name as how I have given, because in XML, in this particular project, we will deal only with XML file. And in another project, we will deal with annotation. So we should have the difference, right? In which project, what we are doing. So I'm just giving Spring Core XML. XML means XML configurations we will do here. Okay. So done. Did you people give the group ID and artifact ID? Give the same thing. And then click on finish. So your project should be created. Done. Spring Core XML. Did you give the project name as Spring Core XML and group ID as com.sp? Everyone have given the same thing. Okay. So let my project get created. Okay, so project is created. Where is that? Spring Core XML. Yes. So Spring is not present in our system, right? Spring is not present in our system or in our Eclipse or in our JRE. We need to add the dependency, like how we did for Hibernate. We need to add the dependency. So from where we will get the dependency? From where we will get the dependency? MVN repository. Yes. This is a pom.xml, so we need to get the dependency from MVN repository. So we'll just go to MVN repository. So I'll give it as Spring and I will search. So you can see you will get Spring Context, which is having the more usage. Spring Context. Did you get this? Did you people get this? In your MVN repository, Spring Context. So I'll just click on Spring Context. I'll have many dependencies. I'll check. So 5.3.18 is having the more usage. It is having the more usage. So where is that? Yeah, 5.3.18, right? Everyone are having the same thing. 5.3.18. Yes. And I'll just copy this dependency. I'll just copy this dependency. Done, everyone. Everyone are getting this. 5.3.18. Yes, shall I move back to Eclipse? Okay, so here I will make use of dependencies tag. We'll just make use of dependencies tag. So here what we should do, we will paste the dependency whichever we have added and save. And save the pom.xml. Then only it will build the Maven dependencies. Yes, done till here. Everyone done till here, or you want me to wait? Okay, fine. So now what I'll do, I'll just create a class. If I wanted to create an object, obviously I need a class, right? I need a class. So I'll just right click on src main Java. I'll create a package first. So new package name com.sp, finish. So my package is ready. So for example, I'll just create a class. And name it as marker. I'll just name it as marker. Okay. So this is the class which we have. So if I wanted to create an object, I need to have some method or some variable, right? So it's better we will have a method. We'll understand how it is working. So for our understanding, I'll just create a method public void write. So it was a non-static method. We need to create the object. So I'll just print in write method. I'm just printing something. We'll just understand how it is working. Okay. So I have a class marker. I have a method called write. So if I wanted to call this method, I should create an object. Marker reference variable is equal to new marker. User should create. Now user should not create, container should create. User should not create, container should create. For that we should tell Spring, right? We should tell Spring. So Spring, this is my class. that is marker. And for this particular class, please do create object. For this particular marker class, please do create object. We might have 20 classes here, but for all the 20 classes, we might not create object. Only for particular class, we will create object, right? So we should inform this to Spring. How we will inform? For that, we should create XML file. We should create XML file. So till here, you people completed? Everyone? Anyone want me to wait? Okay, those who have not completed, please do complete it. Give us a minute. Okay, fine. Till here, you people complete. Just create a project, add the dependency, create a package, create a class, and write a non-static method and keep it ready. Okay, make sure your internet connection is good, Kavya. It might take some time, so no need to worry. No, meta-INF persistence and all is not required. Only if you are using Hibernate, you need all those meta-INF and persistence. Here we are not using Hibernate, so that is not required. Okay, guys, done? Done, everyone? Completed. Let's understand how to give the configuration. Yes, okay. So now everyone listen carefully. Listen carefully, then later don't tell you are getting exception. Okay. So for servlet, since it was difficult, I just connected to everyone's system and I solved your error. Now don't expect the same thing from me. Right click on, listen carefully, right click on src main java. You have src main java folder, no? Right click on that and then create a XML file. XML. Okay. So I'll give the name as myconfig.xml. You can give any name, but I'm giving it as myconfig.xml. Where you should create this, right click on, see here, src main java. Right click on src main java and then create a XML file. And then create a XML file. Don't create in some other folder, then later don't tell you are getting exception. If your XML is not created in a proper folder, you will get error. You will get exception. Okay, so for persistence.xml, we added few set of codes, right? From where did we take all those? From where did we take all those? From Git, right? From Git. Similarly, For this XML file configuration also we have some code. We need to take it from Git. Okay, we need to take it from Git, but I'll share it to you in WhatsApp itself. I'll share this to you in WhatsApp itself. So I have shared it to you in WhatsApp. Just copy paste it. I will tell you what is it. Done. Till here it is completed. Till here you copy paste? Yes. Now here only we should give some configuration. Here only we should give the configuration. So what is the configuration here is, you need to make use of bean tag. You need to make use of bean tag. Okay, I'll tell you why you need to use this bean tag and all. Okay, so you need to use this bean tag. So in this bean tag, you should give the class. You should give the class for which the object should be created, and you should give the ID for that particular object which is getting created. Okay, for which class now we should create the object? For marker class we should create. So I will copy the fully qualified name. I'll copy the fully qualified name and paste. And what is the reference I'm going to give for that particular object? I'll just give it as my marker. I'll just give it as my marker. Okay, so for marker class, everyone listen. After that you can do this configuration. For that marker class, object will be created, correct? Object will be created, and who is managing that object? Who is managing? It is managed by the Spring IOC container. Yes, containers. I told you, no, containers are doing work for the object. So the object is managed by Spring IOC containers, and that is called as bean. And that is called as bean. Okay. So this bean will tell for which class you need to create the object and what is the reference variable. Since the tag is beans here, you can have any number of bean tag inside this beans. Okay. Now for marker class, I need to create the object. Object will be created. Who is managing that? Our container is managing that object. Our container is managing that object. So you need to inform Spring, right? You need to inform Spring which class, and what is the reference variable. That configuration you are giving it in bean. That configuration you are giving it in the bean. So you are telling Spring, see, this is the class which is present in com.sp package and the class name is marker. So for that particular class, create the object and the reference variable will be my marker. That's all. You understood the meaning of this? You understood the meaning of this? Yes, guys, everyone. Okay, okay. Listen. Now tell me, for which class should I create the object? For which class should I create the object? Which class did we create here? Which class did we create here? We created marker class, right? For this particular class which we created, I want a object. I want a object. We developers, we will get to know. We developers will know for which class we should create the object. But how will Spring get to know? How will Spring gets to know? For example, in the same package com.sp, I will have let's take, I have marker class, I have pen class, I have book class. I have 3 class. For example, in this particular package, I have marker class, pen class, book class. But I should create object only for marker class. My requirement is create object only for marker class. Will Spring get to know that requirement? Will Spring get to know that requirement automatically if we think? Obviously, it will not get to know. Right? For that, we should provide some configuration and tell the Spring what to be done. We should guide the Spring. Then only it will work. So what we will do, we will create the XML file. We'll create the XML file. So in bean tag, we will just tell for this particular class marker, just create an object and make this as a reference variable. So that particular object will be created by Spring. Now Spring can understand, right? Just create an object for marker, not for pen and book. Yes, it will understand. Correct? So you understood what is the work of this bean? What is the work of this bean? Now those who asked me to repeat, did you people get it? Those who asked me to repeat this, did you people understood? Yes. Okay. Now we informed the Spring for which class object should be created. Did we use any container till now? Either core container or JWT container? Did we use? We did not use. Bean is not a container. Guys, don't confuse yourself. Bean is just an informer for a Spring. It is informing the Spring which class object should be created. But we should make use of a container, right? Yes. So what we will do, our configuration is done. As of now. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll right click on the package. I'll create a class. And I'll tell marker core container. I'll make use of core container and I'll make use of JWT container. We'll use both and we will see what is the difference, or we'll just check whether the object is created or not. Okay. So I'm just creating a class called marker core container. So guys, so if you're asking for this beans, this configuration, from where did we take this configuration for persistence.xml in Hibernate? From Git we took, right? Similarly, this configuration, I took it from the same Git link. Instead of you people going there and taking, I just shared it in your WhatsApp group. Your persistence configuration, your basic configuration and your bean basic configuration will be given by your company for which you are working. They will be giving that configuration based on their requirements. Okay. So you don't need to worry about all those, just basic is enough. So this you need to understand, because this you need to create, right? Now I created a class called marker core container. So here I'll just create a main method. Okay. Now we need to make use of core container. So in core container, what is the interface we have? Bean factory is the interface. Bean factory is the interface. Yes. So now we should inform the container that I have provided the configuration in XML file. I have provided the configuration in the XML file. Please go check into that XML file and create the object for that particular class. Create the object for that particular class. Now we need to provide the XML file name, right? We need to provide the XML file name, correct? So where we should provide, we have something called as resource. We have something called as resource. So it is an interface org.spring-framework core IOC. So we will make use of this resource is equal to. So for this interface, we cannot directly create the object, right? We cannot directly create. We need to get it from some other class. So we will get it from class path resource. Class path resource. Here I will provide what is the XML file name I had given? myconfig.xml. Now I will make use of bean factory. Is equal to bean factory is again an interface. So here I'll give new XML bean factory and I'll pass the resource. That means my container will go check this particular XML file. My bean factory container will go and check this XML file, and for that particular class it will create the object. Okay. So how to get that object? How to get that particular object? So for that we have a method bean factory dot get bean factory dot get bean. So what that object is present in which reference variable? We have given, right, marker, my marker. So here it will get that particular object. So I'll collect that object, marker M. I'll collect that object. So I need to perform casting here to the marker object. Now if I write m dot, what is the method name? Write. Now I'm calling the write method. So now let me execute. So you'll see whether the write method is getting executed. But we did not create the object. Did we create the object again? New marker. Did we create? No, right? We did not create, but container is doing. Which container is doing? Bean factory container is doing. How it is getting to know that which class object should be created? The configuration is present in the XML file. Okay. So what we are doing here is we have the object, but how to get that object? We are making use of a method called get bean. It will get that particular object. So for that particular object, what is the reference variable we have given in this? My marker is the reference variable. So I am calling it using the reference variable. And I'm casting it to the marker. I'm downcasting it to the marker. Yes. And then I'm calling the write method. So this is how your Spring will work internally. For all this, you have one annotation, guys. Instead of doing all this, you can make use of annotation and you can do it. But this you should understand, because how Spring works internally is also important to be understood. Okay, that is the reason I'm not giving annotation as of now. I'm just giving the configurations and the explanations. Till here it is clear. Till here, everyone, it is clear? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so from where you want me to repeat, Abhijit? Marker core container. Okay, fine. So everyone, okay, fine. Everyone listen carefully. Everyone listen carefully. So we need to create object for marker class. We need to create object for marker class. And we have already informed Spring for which class we should create a object. Did we inform the Spring? Did we inform the Spring? How did we inform? Using which file we informed the Spring that for this particular class the object should be created? Using this XML class, we have informed the Spring that Spring, please create object for marker class and reference variable is my marker. We have informed the Spring, but we still did not start the process. So who will start the process, guys? Container will start the process of creating the object, correct? Container will start the process to create the object. So what we are doing here is we are making use of core container. We are making use of core container. In core container, what is the interface we should use? What is the interface we should use? Bean factory is the interface which we should use if we want to make use of core container. Okay. So as of now, just forget about these line. Okay, just forget about these line. So bean factory I have used, that is the interface. Reference variable I have given. So to create an object for bean factory, I'll just call new XML bean factory. Object is created for bean factory as of now. Bean container we have used. Bean container we have used. Now bean container should know. Bean container should know that which class we should get, which class object should be created. Which class object should be created? That configuration we have made in myconfig.xml. We have made in myconfig.xml. That particular resource, that particular configuration, we should mention it to that container, right? We should mention it to that container. So I am mentioning it. I am passing the resource reference variable here because the class path resource or the XML file name we have passed here. XML file name we have passed here. So this reference variable, I will pass it to the bean core container, that is bean factory. Okay, so now object is present. Object is present. I need to get that object. How to get that object? Using getBean method. It will get the object and this is my reference variable. So for this reference variable, whatever the object the container has created, that object we are going to save it in the reference variable m, and from this m I am calling the write method. From this m I am calling the write method. So write method is getting executed. This is the flow. This is the flow of your Spring. Okay, you need to just understand and remember all these interface name and flow. For your project, I will give you annotations. You can use that. Okay, don't make it complicated. Just understand. Flow you understood? Flow you understood? Yes, so can you people execute? Okay, so bean factory is an interface, right, Pawan? Pawan, bean factory is an interface, so you cannot directly create object for interface. XML bean factory is your implementation class for the bean factory. So I am creating object for XML bean factory. Bean factory is an interface. Keep that in your mind. For interface, you cannot create object directly. You need to make use of implementation class, right? Yeah, you understood now? Okay, good. So everyone, please try to execute. Yeah, it is there in my config, but this method requires get bean method. Get bean method we are using. No, this get bean method requires the reference variable. Then only it will get that particular. Then only it will get that particular object, and it will give it to the user. It will give it to the user. Resource is nothing, guys. Resource is the where we resource is a place where you are giving your XML file name. XML file name. Your bean factory will not directly make use, or it will not directly take the XML file name. So we are passing into the resource, and resource is further passed to bean factory. That's all. If no methods are present in marker class, nothing will be loaded to your object, but object will be created. Yes, you can have many bean tag, not beans, many bean tag in XML file, Kavya. Everyone got the output? Yes, this particular container, bean factory is a container. It is now, this will take care of the object. Creation of the object and destroying the object will be taken care of bean factory container. It is lengthy in Spring to create object. Yeah, as I told Praveen, right? It is a lengthy process when we try to write the code. Okay, it is a lengthy process when we try to write the code. So what is the use of creating object like this? If you ask, I am telling you, right? So all these are the working of your Spring, which we are understanding now. This is how your Spring will work. How will you understand? Only when you use all these interfaces, you will understand how your Spring is working internally. If you ask what is the use for all these configuration, Praveen, for all this configuration, we have annotations. We have annotations. Just one annotation you use, all these operation will be performed. All these operation will be performed. Now, directly I can give you annotations. Directly I can give you people the annotation. But how will I explain this on all will happen? All these process will happen in the annotation. Only if I explain this, I can easily make you to understand the annotation also, right? How we did it in Servlet? In Servlet, we used web.xml, and then I just used the annotation. You people understood, right? Similarly, I am just giving the implementation, then I use the annotation. That's all. Yes, this happens internally in Spring. In annotations, what will happen? I'm just explaining you now. Object is created in heap memory. Object is created. Now I need to get the object, right? How you will get that object? By using get bean. By using get bean. Okay, what is the error, Ashwini? What is the error? Can you read the first line of that error, whatever you have got? Main method not found in class. Please define the main method as public static void main string array of arguments. Can you just send me the pic of this particular marker core container, what you have written? Executed, guys. Everyone, it is working. Your print method is getting, your write method is getting executed, and it is printing the details. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, this is your marker class. Just send me the, okay. Just update your project once, Ashwini. Update your project once and then try to execute. If you are still getting the same error, I'll just connect it to you. Okay. Yes, Prakash. Because I need to convert that particular object to marker object, right? So we need to do that. How you do it in your collection the same way. Till here, clear. Now you understood the flow, right? How your spring is working. This is just simple. We have two more things which to be understood. Now, we have used core container, right? Similarly, we will use J2EE container. It will take another 5 minutes. Shall we do it today only? And we'll complete it. It's overloaded. I did not do anything, only one program I did, it is overloaded, it seems. Even after explaining everything to you, it is overloaded. Oh my god. Okay, fine. Simple, guys. How we did using core container? Confusion in container, it will happen. That's fine. You just need to know what is core container, what is web container. That's all. And what are the interfaces. Okay, we'll just go with another class. I'll just create another class. So, marker J2EE container. So here, what is the first interface in J2EE container? What is the first interface in J2EE container? Application context. Application context. So we need to create object for this. So we'll make use of class path XML application context. Class path XML application context, and here itself you can provide my config.xml. So in Bean Factory, if many methods are there in marker, it will create one object and all the non-static methods will be loaded to that particular object. How your object will get created, the same way it happens. Okay, so now in Bean Factory, we used to create object for resource, right? We used to create object for resource, but in application context, directly you can provide the XML file here. Directly you can provide the XML file. Now what we need to do, we need to get the bean, right? We need to get the bean, the same thing. Application context dot get bean, and my marker is the reference. My marker is the reference. I'll collect marker M. I'll just cast. Yes, now I'll write m dot write method. Now I'll call write method. And when I execute, I am in write method. It is getting executed. Compared to bean factory, this is bit simple. Is this bit simple? This is easy, right? You understood this? You understood JW container? It is easy. Okay, execute this. Execute this. In which class, Ashwini? In which class? Marker container. In write method, you are getting error. Okay, I'll just check into it. Okay, guys, this is completed. Now we have another interface, right? Or we have another interface. What is that interface? Configurable application context. Configurable application context. Same way, new class path application context. Same method only you should use. So here I'll provide my config.xml. My config.xml. Then what I should do? C application context dot get bean my marker M downcasted M dot write and then execute. This is also giving you the output. Now what is the difference that we will understand? Difference we should know. Okay, that's fine. I'll tell you the difference, but as of now just execute and check. All the containers are helping you to create the object and it is working fine. Execute and check. Done, completed. Okay guys, so we are Yes, I did downcasting here. Okay, 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 guys. So those who have completed can leave the class. We are done. We are done for the day. So we'll continue tomorrow. Those who have error exceptions, yeah. Bye. Take care, guys. So those who have exceptions, you can just stay here in class. It is already a upcasted object. So directly you can downcast. Okay, good night. Good night, guys. Take care. Okay. So, guys, those who have error in right method, just send your AnyDesk ID in the group. In group with your name. Yeah, I'll send the code and paint on WhatsApp. Okay. That's all, guys. That's all done for the day. So those who have error, I'll just clear their error. Okay. Yeah, sure, Nelson. Share the your AnyDesk ID in group. No, I'm just sorry for that. I just forgot. Yeah, Arun, bye. Take care. Omkar, yes. If you have completed, you can leave, guys.